how you make your fist and how the whole thing is aligned will decide how effective, how powerful your punch is going to be, your attacks, whether you are going to face injuries, whether it's going to be painful for the opponent or yourself. All that is decided by how you make the fist and how you execute it while in action or while doing the technique. So there are two parts. Part one is the shape itself. How do you make a fist? What is the proper shape? And part two is how do you align that shape with the whole arm? Because a punch is a combination of what you do with your fingers plus how you align it with your whole arm and the whole execution of the technique. So there are two parts: how to make a fist and how to use it in a punch. I'll be sharing two ways in which people make the fist and at least three ways in which they use the fist in a punch. So the most common method that you will see everywhere of how to make the fist is step 1, fingers together. Step 2 is the fingers come like this, fold in such a way that your fingernails almost land over here in the base of your fingers. So like this. Step 3 is how you fold them like this. Step 4 or 5 or whatever the last step is, your thumb comes in between your index finger and your middle finger like this. So the whole thing is locked, and I have seen teachers teach it like this has to be straight, there has to be a straight line. This is the usual most accepted one, which is safe for you to punch in a punching bag or a large surface. Now the method that I follow only for specific reason. For example, if I am punching a punching bag, this is good for me, this is good enough, because it is a flat area, because it is not very narrow, it is not this. So there is a difference. So there are two ways in which they make the fist. One in which the whole thing is flat, and the other one which we follow in our style of Sangukai, which is a stream coming from Shotokan style understanding of karate. So this is also done in many martial arts, especially our style. So what happens is, this is flat, large surface means more comfort, less chance of injury. But this one, what you are doing is you are using only the first two knuckles. So it's like a hammer versus a screwdriver. So the surface area became small. Now I am only punching with this. So what happens, this is useful when you are trying more like a self-defense, like you are trying to punch in somebody's ribs. So if you are trying to make your weapon small and narrow, that will inflict more pain. So for that purpose, I use the second variation of how to make the fist, is that instead of making this whole flat, tighten up this one, because this can be loose, and you tighten this one. This is a total fully secure and tight variation of this. What happens in this is, I am only punching with the first two knuckles. So the weapon used becomes narrow and more pain can be inflicted. But is it safe every time in a punching bag, or when you're punching something, or when you're punching with a moving opponent? Maybe not. It all depends on how you practice and what is comfortable for you. So these are the two methods in which you can make a fist. Now let's say you have decided which kind of fist you are going to make, the flat one or somewhat like this. That depends on what situation it is. If I want to inflict some pain, if I am doing like to the face or something, it's okay. Or to the body, I want it to be like pointy, maybe I'll use this, or otherwise I'll just keep it like this. Now how to align? The alignment is different, because your hand is made in such a way that this is straight and the bones are coming out like this. They are spreading out. The bones in your hand over here come out like this. So the stronger ones are this and the first two. The bone that is supporting the index finger, the bone that is supporting the middle finger, they are bigger, stronger than these two. So that is why we don't use these knuckles, because there is a good chance that you can break this. And moreover, there are some theories of you hit over here, it affects some nerves and it can affect your head and eyes and something like that. Anyway, even if you ignore all that, it's just smaller and weaker bones. So what we do is, this natural alignment is not working, because this is going straight to these two. So what we do is, in order to use the first two, because this is not good, your first two is coming straight down and going kind of outside. So in order to make these two properly supported by the whole arm, a twist is needed. So this is needed in order to make these two correctly supported by the whole elbow, from the elbow to the arm. So what we do is not straight, because if you hit straight, you can see a significant portion of your hand, the energy goes back. So the alignment is such a way that if you make a fist over here, what happens is, the thing is, from your whole arm, from the elbow to the knuckles, it is a straight line, but it's not exactly coming where I wanted to use for the punch. I wanted to use these two knuckles for the punch. But what is happening is, my hand naturally sits in such a way that it's not over there. So we need to make this minute adjustment to make it in line. So instead of doing this, which is how my hand would naturally be, I am trying to make this here, so that the knuckles I'm using is properly supported by the whole arm. And this can be noticed especially when you're punching a punching bag. For example, many times when you're not paying attention, you will notice that if you're punching like this, what will happen is, you're here and this will go like this, and there will be some pain over here. It can be explained when I hold a ball or something. One second. Because the punching bag is cylindrical, so it will be somewhat like this. And now what happens is, you're punching like this and this thing happens. You go like this and there is pain in this area, because the hit has to go correct perpendicular. This is good for me. But if I do somewhat like this or like this, it injures my hand. So the hit or the attack needs to come correct straight and not like this, because what happens is, this is not going correctly. I'm using the first two knuckles, but the energy is going back here. So I need this to happen. With the correct fist, whatever I choose, this one or this one, I am selecting this thing to move a little so that there is a straight line. And this straight line I try to maintain. In this old clip of mine also, you can see that the first two knuckles I am trying to twist it in such a way that there is enough support of the whole arm behind it. Now there are different ways in which the fist is applied in a punch. So there are basically three schools of thought in which you can use your fist, whichever fist you choose, that is, you are using this one or this one, whatever you choose. The fist you make, you align it properly, and then how to use it in a punch, how to use it in a technique, how will you use it. There are basically three things that I came across. There may be more ideas, more point of views, but there are three. The first one is the usual traditional martial art one, which we follow. In our style also, it is followed in Shotokan, followed in Karate. I'm sure it is followed in parts of Kung Fu also. The Bruce Lee JKD method, in which you tight your fist, you clench the fist only at the point of contact. So you're keeping it loose, and only when it reaches a certain point, that is when you're making it tight. So this makes sense for saving energy, because every time if you're like this, it uses a lot of energy, and the muscles and everything, they're working and you can get tired. So now what we will do is, we will understand the first method, that is, you keep your hands loose, and only at the point of contact when you try to hit, when the target is coming and your hand reaches the target, if at that point only you are making it tight, you will save energy, okay. But there is a risk. What is the risk? The risk is that you are not always punching or hitting a target that is not moving. You are not always hitting a punching bag. Maybe if the punching bag is moving, or maybe if you are fighting a real person, the people you will be throwing punches at, they move forward and backward. So what happens is, every time you do not understand where the point of contact will be. So if the person walks into your punch and your hand is loose, there are good chances that your hand breaks. So if you keep it loose and only at the point of contact you tighten your fist, it's good, you can save energy, but then what is the point of contact? The person moves one step back or one step forward, there's a good chance you injure your own hand. So there are advantages and disadvantages to this method. Number two is the approach taken by modern combat sports and boxers and people. They understand the importance of saving energy, and they also understand that people and target can be moving, so you can't keep your hands loose. So what they do is, they tighten the fist only, stay out of range and relax, and when you are planning to punch, make sure your fist is tight. Make sure the fist is tight. So I am saving energy, my whole body is relaxed, but I'm not making the mistake of keeping the hands loose every time I punch and only at the point of contact. So this method uses stay out of range, stay relaxed, and when you're about to punch, make it tight. Whatever is the kind of punch that you're trying to do, make a fist and punch. And as you can see in these, I'm not necessarily keeping the alignment in that pointed way. I can keep it flat. It's my choice.
It's her choice.
This is number 2, where you make your fist tight and then you punch. So that you're also saving your energy. Every time it's not tight, only the fist is tight, not the whole body. So you're saving energy and you're also safe. Other than these 2 methods, there is also a third one that I came across very recently. So there are people who completely ignore the fact that you have to make a fist, and you can just keep your hand loose and then you can punch. So it might sound new, it might sound illogical, but the thing is, it is an advanced version of what you do, and it kind of makes sense. To avoid injuries, if you can keep your hand loose, just like it is in a boxing glove, so your hand is somewhat like this, and when you punch, so this is how they punch. And there are people who practice like this, who have the experience of punching like this, and they say they are safe. It is better than a strong fist. Now I cannot give you a personal guarantee because I have no experience in punching like this, and in a real situation I would definitely use the clenched fist like this. But it does make sense. That is, if your hand is tight like this, there are more chances that if you hit an elbow or you hit a forehead, you can injure and break this or this. This is especially this hand and the punches and the thumb, this joint. Usually that is where people have injuries. And most people are punching like this. It does make sense in terms of injury and in terms of absorbing the momentum that you keep your hands open. I'm not saying this is the best thing. I have not tried it myself, but it does make sense because, for example, if you're getting punched in the face and you have the option of keeping your hands closed and you're still getting punched. For example, this is the thing and I get hit, it still hurts. And there is a chance that the injury, that the power comes inside and hits and injures the center part. But for example, if I keep it loose, keep it open, what happens is the impact is absorbed by my hand. So are you understanding what I'm trying to say? This one, the power completely goes in your bones and everything. But if you keep it loose, there is a spring action. If you keep it loose, there is a spring action. If you keep it loose, there is a spring action. If you keep it loose, there is a spring action. So it makes sense, but then again, your thumb is exposed, and when I tried this for the first time, I almost broke my thumb. So I have no personal guarantee I am not giving. So this makes sense. It's a new idea. For me at least, it is a new idea. But personally what I would do is method number 2 with fist number 1, an open fist like this. Sometimes I do this. Align it like this and keep your body loose, but when you are punching, keep your fist tight. So that no matter what happens, even if you hit an elbow before or after where you have not planned, your fist is safe and it's tight because this just feels comfortable. I can't punch like this. It's something I have not practiced. So personally, I would go for method number 2. Stay out of range, stay relaxed, but when you are punching, stay ready. The first course of Dand and Baitak and Sapate is available under Muddy Muscles. It is a full playlist of 17 different videos in which you will get to learn 16 different Indian bodyweight exercises. Dand, Baitak, Parso Dand, Chakra Dand, Desi, Pehlwani Baitak. All that you will get to learn for a very small, very tiny little cost of $299. What do you get in $299? The whole playlist forever. You can look at the videos, you can learn, you can start your journey of research into this field. And the funds we will use for creating or making an Akhada inspired Desi gym, a multi-purpose fitness center very close to where we live. And it will be a multi-purpose fitness center where kalari, karate, wrestling classes can be held. And it can be used like a class, and it can be used like a regular gym also, where membership will be free for you. People who have purchased the course and people who are student of Karate TV online class. Bas, thank you.